Hi everybody, I recently was interviewed by Mel Clark on the Never Settle podcast, and I've also done an interview on the ROS media platform with Andy Benson, and I've been talking all about how we're going to grow a new sovereign nation with its own infrastructure to enable the Republic of Old Souls Envoys to access an independent infrastructure to enable them to escape peacefully, escape the matrix, peacefully escape the problems that are all closing in on us at the moment with regards to the digital concentration camp, the AI takeover, the transhuman agenda, which I've spoken about on my interviews, and other people are also talking about it. People like Catherine Austin-Fitts of the Solari report, people like Max Egan of the Crow House, people like David Icke, been talking about it for a long time. Many others talking about the control agenda coming in. Well, as you know, my view and my plan is to, rather than fight it, because it's very difficult to defeat it, we can't simply just say, no, I'm not doing it, because it's too smart, it's too carefully thought out just to say no to it on every single level. It's very difficult to defeat it. So my plan is, and it's been this, my plan has been, in my thoughts and in my strategies for many years now, is not to fight the control agenda, is to avoid it. And the way to avoid it is through our own sovereign nation with its own infrastructure, so therefore we don't have any reliance on the cabal and their infrastructure, things like their power, their internet, their water, their food, their money, their anything of that foundational infrastructure network that we all rely upon, even though we may believe that we are free. If you take away any of those pillars, then we soon realise that we're not free. So if we can access our own infrastructure as a sovereign nation, then it doesn't matter what the cabal's control agenda is and how they're rolling it out, it's not going to affect us. We become a very peaceful nation with its own infrastructure operating peacefully. Well, a lot of people have said to me, who I've had this discussion with about the sovereign nation and the freedom plan, it sounds really interesting, Ian, but how are you going to make it work? How are you going to recruit the envoys to come into it, the members of this sovereign nation, and how are you going to finance it, and how are you going to build it all out, Ian? Because it sounds like an amazing solution, but lots of great ideas have come and gone, have never been developed. Well, I have a plan, and I've had this plan for a long time. I started to talk about it on the Never Settle podcast. I didn't go into it in a great deal of detail. And underneath the interview, the podcast, I was looking at some of the comments that were coming in from people who have been watching the interview on the Never Settle podcast. And, there is a theme with some people who still don't comprehend what it is that is driving me. It is not making money. As I've mentioned many times, I can make money. There isn't actually any money of substance, but I can make money through recouping my abandoned signature credit. I've proven that works. We've had results. I've written exhaustive research papers on how it all works. So if I just want to have my own financial abundance, I would just recoup my own signature credit. In fact, I could have done that in 2025. I would have had millions of signature credit. I have a verified wages and tax transcript from the IRS for 4.4 million. That was just one of the filings that I'd put through under trust that I'd created. So if I was just looking to make money, and I've already got a proven methodology to get money, the signature credit recoupment, then why am I bothering to build out an infrastructure with more than 50 full-time members of our personnel in multiple countries, sitting here 7 days a week, working on building this out. Why would I bother doing all that if all I was interested in was money? I've also built an algorithmic sports trading platform that rivals the platforms that Tony Bloom, who's the owner of Brighton Football Club, used to purchase Brighton Football Club and probably bankrolls many of the expenses at the Brighton Football Club. And then Matthew Benham, who is the owner and chairman of Brentford Football Club, both in the English Premier League, both need huge cash flows to bankroll their operations, and both of them made their money through sports trading, football trading, algorithmic football trading, sports betting. I have built a platform that does what their platforms do. I do not need personally to charge members, envoys, enrolment donations or fees or subscriptions for Iain. What we need those fees and subscriptions for is to finance the growth of the infrastructure that is going to deliver the sovereign nation freedom plan. Until there is the back end coming in of the recoupments, that is the 20% share of the signature energy recoupment, until that starts flowing in, which should have been 2025 if it hadn't have been for the 𝐓𝐴𝐸 and other sabotage, then until then we still need to have donations coming into ROS ministry. We still need that donation, and a lot of people still don't get this. They don't seem to comprehend it. More than 50 full-time personnel if you don't have cash flows coming in. How do you do that? How do you build out the infrastructure to deliver the Great Escape protocols, to deliver the art of legal warfare solutions, the freedom plan? How do you deliver all that if you have no cash flow coming in? It would be impossible, because if you ask everyone in your organisation to work for free, many of them would love to do that, but they have their own monopoly board game going on, and they need the cash flow to finance their game of Monopoly because they don't have other cash flows coming in at the moment. Now, of course, the entire situation changes once the signature credit recoupment start coming in. 20% is about the level that most of the members have agreed to tithe, to make that donation into financing the Great Escape from the Matrix, which is the sovereign nation of the Republic of Old Souls. 20% of the signature credit recoupment, which they will recoup back, so it doesn't cost them anything. A lot of people are still confused about this, saying, well, it's a lot, and why does Iain need 20% of my recoupments? I don't get any of it. It will go to the sovereign nation. It is a foundation in Panama. It will go there, and then the members will recoup that tithe. It's a donation which they will then recoup. So they won't see deduction going forward from their signature credit recoupment. So let's get into how are we going to grow. That's how we're going to finance the sovereign nation, is by 20% of the signature credit recoupment. But how are we going to grow the nation to what I want, which is circa 500,000 envoys who are living and operating in different countries across the world, and all coming together, sharing in this independent infrastructure with our own autonomy, where we don't need anything from the cabal, literally nothing. We have everything provided within our own nation. Now that to me is the most elegant plan available. I don't know of any other plan that's aiming to achieve that. 500,000 envoys is around about 0.01% of the eligible world population. That's the population over the age of 35 and under the age of 65. There is very good reasons why I've categorised that age bracket, and it's not every single country. It doesn't include China and places like that. It's the Commonwealth, it's the United Kingdom, it's the United States, it's Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Commonwealth predominantly, because that's where the English speakers are, and at the moment we don't have the infrastructure to speak all different language. I'm sure we could do going forward, but at the moment this is my immediate first phase plan is the Commonwealth, the United States, Canada, New Zealand, etc., and the Commonwealth countries. So how are we going to recruit 500,000? Now at the moment what we do is we have a advocate referral program, we have a webinar rewards program. Both of those are designed to get referrals to come in to so that people get to know about what we're offering. The advocates are referring people in pretty much to come and watch my webinars, and equally get people to come and watch the webinars. There's no obligations. If the attendees of the webinars want to proceed, then at the moment what's going on is they will book a consultation with one of our team of consultants. They'll walk through their questions, answers, they will walk through the structured presentations, and then if they want to enroll and go ahead with the Great Escape protocols, then they'll do that. And that is working, but it's not working at the level of recruiting 500,000 envoys in the quickest possible time that we have available. Why? Because I know that why do we need to recruit faster, I should say. That's because the 𝐓𝐶𝐞 agenda is unfolding right in front of our eyes, and we need to be recruiting our envoys at a much faster pace than we are at the moment. So how are we going to do it? We could carry on with the model that we've got now and slowly build our envoy network and our nation that way, or we could accelerate it. And I want to accelerate it because I know that the 𝐓𝐶𝐞 agenda is also being accelerated. The control agenda is being accelerated. So the biggest problem that we have is getting those who don't know what we're doing and how we're doing it to comprehend it. It's a big shift from what most people believe in. They have a world map of how they think, how they believe that things work. There is a huge gap between what we know and what I know and what most of the new members and envoys know when they first get involved with the information that I talk about on my webinars. So there is an information gap. How are we going to get that information out there to a much bigger audience? Well, my idea is to use the AI that is now available to us. You have AI that is very, very good at presenting, and all the content that I've already created can be loaded into an AI-based system. The AI can do like news interviews, it can do news presentations, it can do documentaries, it can do explainers, it can do all of that stuff that I'm sure a lot of people are already aware of in the area of AI. AI is a lot more than just being able to sort data out. It can make videos, it can do presentations, you can have avatars, you can have it look very, very realistic so that it looks just like a real presenter. If we build that system and all the existing information which I have created, the ecclesial law technical papers, the webinar presentations, the Q&A that I do with Andy Benson, the interviews that I've done in the last 6 months to a year, put all of that information into the AI and then look at where are the problems, what and where are the problems. So if you look at the world out there, there's different problems being experienced by people in different countries for different reasons. It's all part of the control agenda, but the major problem in one country may not be the major problem in another country. So the problems are specific to the area, the country that people are operating in. So what I want to do is I want to identify what the problems are, and then the AI will identify the problems in that area and then identify the range of solutions that we have available within our existing suite of solutions, and all the knowledge and all of the content will come from my webinars, my documents, my interviews, my Q&As, etc., etc., etc. It has all that knowledge. it can then deliver that out through to the social media platforms, all the different platforms, X, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, alternative platforms. It can then deliver all of that out there to those that are interested in solving those problems. That's number one. The other thing it can do is it can do documentaries, it can look at certain subjects, it can talk about this is this section here, regional forensic research, and then you've got broadcasting, and then you've got documentaries, and then you've got explainers, and all sorts of content which is tailored to the viewer wherever they're viewing, whichever country they're viewing in, and we roll it out through our advocate network, as well as our own social media. We build an AI that taps into the advocates' AI. So they have an AI terminal, they download it into their computer, they put it in their phone. It's very safe, it's proven, it's not a hacking device or anything like that. It is just there to facilitate the distribution of the content that will be distributed centrally through all the advocates. Now the advocates then have their own social media channels, push the content through their social media channels, and then anybody who wants to come to a meeting about the solution can do so either with an avatar meeting or a physical meeting with one of our consultants, but I want obviously to scale it, it would have to be predominantly in avatar meetings. We can recruit more and more consultants, which is an option, but it's a very expensive option and it's a very time consuming option, and it's also an option where you have to have the consultants working in all different time zones, whereas an avatar presentation that might answer most of the questions, followed by a physical consultation with one of our living and breathing consultants, may be the way to go. So that is what I want to do. It's going to be amazing for the advocates because they're not going to have to do anything apart from accept and agree to the AI agent. They don't have to create the content, they don't have to put it on the social media channels. That will all be done for them. They will get a passive income stream of anybody who comes through, who wants to enroll in what we're doing. Those people then become advocates, become envoys. And then also the webinars. I'll still be doing the webinars every Saturday. I'll still be looking at problems and solutions. I'll still be doing interviews. I'll still be doing Q&As. But this content that we already have, a huge library of content that we already have, we can break it down, we can make it into different types of presentations, and we can put it out there. And you'll be quite surprised when you look at the quality of AI presentations, like new breaking news type presentations, problem solutions, documentaries. The technology today is moved on at such a pace from where it was when it first came out. That is how we're going to recruit envoys through the advocate network, through our own marketing, and we're going to be able to automate it, centrally create the content based on all the knowledge and all the information that I've already created and more that will come in the future with different problems and solutions, and push it out there through hundreds, thousands of advocates through their social media channels, so that we expose this information, the problem, the solution, the freedom plan, the independent infrastructure, everything about what we're doing to a much, much wider audience, and recruiting new members, new envoys of the Republic of Old Souls 24/7 through avatar presentations, interactive avatar presentations, as opposed to just a chat bot where you ask it a question and it gives you the answer. No, you actually have an avatar that is going to listen to what your question is, listen to what you're interested in, and then deliver the information to you based upon the huge library of information that we already have. Thanks for watching.